My grandmother's inheritance condition meant I had to stay single until 30. I got married at 28. My grandmother Vivian was worth $4.2 million when she died. She left everything to her 3 grandchildren, but with conditions. My older brother had to graduate college with honors. My younger sister had to maintain a job for 5 consecutive years. And me, the only granddaughter who looked exactly like her, I had to remain unmarried until my 30th birthday. The lawyer read the will out loud while my parents sat in stunned silence. Grandma Vivian had written a personal note explaining her reasoning. She said women who married young wasted their potential chasing men instead of building themselves. She said my mother had made that mistake and she refused to watch me repeat it. My inheritance was $1.4 million, but only if I stayed single until August 12th of my 30th year. If I married before then, every penny would go to a foundation for women's education. My mother cried in the parking lot, not because the condition was cruel, but because Grandma Vivian had called her a cautionary tale from beyond the grave. I was 19 when she died. Staying single until 30 seemed easy. I threw myself into school, then my career, then building a life that didn't revolve around relationships. My parents reminded me constantly about the money. Every time I mentioned a date, my dad would say, "That's a $1.4 million dinner." Every time I brought someone to a family event, my mom would pull me aside and whisper about how close I was to throwing away my future. By 24, I'd stopped dating entirely. It was easier than the interrogations. By 26, I'd convinced myself I didn't even want a relationship. The inheritance had become my entire identity. I was the girl who couldn't get married, the girl with the weird grandmother, the girl whose love life had a price tag. Friends stopped setting me up because they knew I'd say no. Coworkers assumed I was either damaged or secretly already rich. I wasn't either. I was just trapped by a dead woman's rules. Then I met Oliver at a conference when I was 26. He was a pediatric nurse from Seattle who laughed at his own jokes and brought me coffee without asking how I took it. He just guessed correctly. We talked for 4 hours that first night, and I forgot to mention the inheritance because, for once, it didn't feel relevant. We dated long distance for 8 months before he moved to be closer to me. He met my parents on a Sunday, and within 10 minutes, my father had explained the entire inheritance situation, including the exact dollar amount and the exact date I'd be eligible. Oliver listened politely. Then he looked at me and said, "That's the most unhinged thing I've ever heard." My mother's face went pale. Nobody had ever called Grandma Vivian unhinged before, at least not out loud. My father started defending the conditions, saying Grandma Vivian just wanted what was best for me. Oliver asked how controlling someone's love life from the grave could possibly be what's best. My parents didn't like Oliver after that. They said he was dismissive of family values. They said he didn't understand our traditions. What they really meant was he didn't worship the money like they did. Every visit became a battle. My mom would casually mention how many months I had left until I was free. My dad would make comments about Oliver being a distraction from my goals. They talked about the inheritance like it was my destiny, like Grandma Vivian's conditions were reasonable guardrails instead of posthumous manipulation. Oliver never pressured me either way. He said the money was my decision and he'd support whatever I chose, but I could see what the waiting was doing to us. We couldn't plan a future. We couldn't talk about marriage without doing math. Every conversation about commitment came with a countdown clock and a dollar sign. I was 28 when Oliver's mother got diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's. He wanted her at his wedding while she could still remember it. He didn't ask me to choose. He just told me what he wanted, and for the first time in 9 years, I realized what I wanted too. I called my parents and told them I was getting married in 3 months. The silence on the phone lasted so long I thought the call had dropped. Then my mother said, "You're throwing away $1.4 million for a man you've known for 2 years." I said I was throwing away my grandmother's control, not money. My father said Grandma Vivian would be devastated if she could see this. I said Grandma Vivian had been devastated by her own choices and decided to punish every woman in her family for them. I said I wasn't going to live my life according to the regrets of someone who'd been dead for nearly a decade. I said the money had already cost me my entire 20s, and I wasn't giving it my 30s too. My mother hung up. She didn't come to the wedding. Neither did my father. But Oliver's mother was there in the front row. She cried during the vows and called me her daughter. That moment was worth more than any inheritance. The $1.4 million went to the Education Foundation just like Grandma Vivian wanted, and I've never regretted it once.